What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show, and today I wanted to come to you guys before the game because I wanted to make it a point of explaining stuff out there, because I've heard a lot of fans sit up here and talk about how we better win this Giants game. I've even said it too, we better win this Giants game, but I've heard everybody just say, they better win, but even if they win, what difference does it make? Like, I'm going to tell y'all how I look at it from my standpoint. Even if they go out there and beat the Giants, it still doesn't change anything for me. It still does not change anything for me. It doesn't make me think differently. It doesn't make me anticipate differently. It doesn't make me even consider differently. What we're dealing with is a team that is devoid of talent. It really is. And to know that we hear that Adam Peters was angry and mad in the tunnel, that really don't mean nothing to me. It don't. It really don't. Because he was the guy who was the architect of this team. He had an opportunity to go out there and get a lot of better players, and he chose not to. He sat up there and was a guy who believed in guys like Emmanuel Forbes and Benjamin St. Juste, when all the fans were sitting here talking about how they were not comfortable with Emmanuel Forbes or Benjamin St. Juste. We were all concerned and worried. When you really think about it, this is Emmanuel Forbes' second defense in only 2 years of his career. And the thing about it is that the concepts for the defenses are so different from each other. So different. Like, Dan Quinn's defense is so... Like, I know some people don't think that Dan Quinn's defense is so different from Jack Del Rio's defense. It is completely different. And I'm pretty sure the terminology is different too. The way you cover is different. Because if you pay attention to Dan Quinn's, the way he lets his corners play versus the way Jack Del Rio would let the corners play, it's completely different. So I'm pretty sure the terminology is different too. So with that, there's nothing they can do to make me feel any more comfortable or to make me feel any more comfortable with the fact of them winning and turning out that it's like, oh yeah, they won, so they're not that bad. No, They're still going to be bad. They're still going to be a team trying to figure it out. Dan Quinn Adam Peters is going to be a guy still trying to figure it out. There were so many players in the draft that they could have taken, and they felt they didn't have to. Kool-Aid McKinstry was on the board, and they didn't take him. You could have actually sat up there and took Mikey Sinderstill and Kool-Aid McKinstry and ended up in a situation where you actually sat up there and basically had your secondary rebuilt with these two guys as your outside corners. But you didn't do that. And because you didn't do that, now you're in a situation where you're now not certain which direction to go. And it's sad to see, as a fan for so long, watch as extremely talented guys basically squander careers here. And you feel bad for him. You really do. Like, Santana Moss is a guy that on any other team he would be a Hall of Famer. He's not going to make it into the Hall of Fame because of our team. Terry McLaurin, another guy who is in all reality one of the elite wide receivers. If he had Aaron Rodgers throwing to him, if he had Patrick Mahomes throwing to him, if he had Jalen Hurts throwing to him, we're talking about a completely different guy. We saw what happened when DJ Moore went from quarterbacks just like Terry. We saw DJ Moore was in that same boat just like Terry McLaurin. DJ Moore gets better quarterback play, and this man is now talked about as one of the elite wide receivers. He's not faster than Terry. He doesn't run routes better than Terry or nothing. He's identical to Terry. And the only thing that changed with DJ Moore was the quarterback. That was it. One year with a quarterback that actually sat up there and made him look good. 1 year, DJ Moore is now top 10 or top 11, and Terry is still sitting down there at 13. and we watch guys like Chris Cooley. We watch as he played his career. We watch guys like London Fletcher. London Fletcher may not make the Hall of Fame, and all this man ever did was lead the league in tackles for so many years, and he may not even make it into the Hall of Fame. I think him and Ray Lewis came into the league about the same year, about the same time. No. Ray Lewis is 96. I think Ray Lewis is 96. And London Fletcher is 99. I think he was 99 because I think he was a rookie on that Rams team, that Super Bowl Rams team. But either way, Brian Mitchell, not in the Hall of Fame, even though he has all the Hall of Fame credentials there. You look at Chris Samuels. Chris Samuels. Do y'all know that Trent Williams, with his tenure now with the 49ers, will have the opportunity to choose between the 49ers and Washington to go into the Hall of Fame? Trent may not even go in as a Commander, even though he wasn't a Commander when he played, but still. He may not go into the Hall of Fame as one of us. And that's demoralizing. That's heartbreaking to know that we don't even have our team has squandered and been bad for so long that we don't even have a true Hall of Famer. And the guys who should have gotten Hall of Fame consideration aren't getting it because they had bad quarterback play, bad offensive coordinator play, or they just had all the numbers, but they didn't have the wins to match it. So, I mean, that's some hard stuff to really deal with. It's really hard to deal with that. And it's crazy to know that we are in a situation where, this team seems to still be on the same track. There are things that I always said was a bad thing. One of the things that I always said was bad was the factor of what? Don't put a timeline on what was happening. We all, before Dan Quinn was hot, before it was announced that Dan Quinn was the coach, right? The thing that I said was that don't put a timeline on the turnaround. Because why? Us as fans are going to hold y'all to that. Everybody sat up there and said, this is not a rebuild. This is a recalibration. You gave yourself a timeline. Because when you say recalibrate, that means that, it's not as bad as y'all think. It was just that the coaching needed to change. And that wasn't the case. We all would have understood if you sat up there and said, okay, we are rebuilding. And whoever does not want to be here can leave now. And you could have went on and traded Jonathan Allen. That whatever, and understand this, just because Jonathan Allen has been this great guy and all this type of stuff, whatever team gives you the best deal, you're gonna go with it. So that means, hell, if Carolina gave you the best deal for a Jonathan Allen trade, then guess where Jonathan Allen is going? To a rebuilding Carolina Panthers. That's where he's going. And people need to understand, and it's not people. The front office, along with the coaching staff, have to understand that we understood this was going to be a rebuild. We understood that from the onset. Don't say it's a recalibration, because we knew it wasn't going to be. But back to my original whole thing that I was talking about. Them beating the Giants won't change my opinion of what's going to happen with this team. It's not going to make me say, you know what, y'all, let me go back to the schedule and then all of a sudden readjust my thinking on the schedule. No, I still feel the same way about the schedule. I still feel that they're going to be a 5 to 6 win team. Maybe 7. They lucky to get 7. But to be honest, the safe bet is 5 to 6 wins. Because you beating the Giants means nothing. Nothing. Because even if you beat the Giants, how many of y'all would feel good if they beat the Giants 13 to 10? Does that really mean that this team has gotten better? Does that mean that the recalibration is on? Does that mean that they beat a team they were supposed to beat? Does that really give you that level of confidence? It wouldn't give me that. Not at all. Not at all. And I don't even see, you know what? I'll give some reprieve on this. Or I'll give this some grace. If Washington went out there, right? And they beat the Giants 30-0, then maybe I'll sit up there and say, you know what? Maybe this team is back on track because they just obliterated a team they were supposed to beat. Right? And I know before y'all say it, because I know you are all going to say it, but before you even think that, before I'm going to answer to it, because most of y'all are going to say, well, John, it's hard for a team to give another team a donut. Yeah, it can be, but we've gotten donuts before, haven't we? There's been teams that have come into our home or have beaten us a huge score 2-0. I don't see anybody praising them for beating a team, destroying a team they were supposed to beat. I don't see that happening. And this is what I'm talking about. The only way I will even consider there's a chance that this team is changing is if they beat the Giants 30 or more to nothing. Because then at that point you can say, okay, you know what? They destroyed the Giants. So a destruction and going into Baltimore, you know what? They might actually have a chance. Because I see that they're playing hard. I see that they're not taking they're not taking a victim mentality. They're out there to really go out there and win. And this season means something. But we all know that that's not going to happen. We all know that they're not going to win 30 plus something to nothing. And most of y'all will sit up there and say, well, John, if they do 20-0, that's still good. Nah, I want an obliteration of a team you're supposed to beat. I want an obliteration of a team you're supposed to beat. The Vikings did it with Sam Darnold. Why not? Why not us? Why not us? But y'all tell me what y'all think. How do y'all feel? Do y'all feel that even with if they beat the Giants, y'all might feel, no, I'm okay. I'm okay with them beating the Giants. But how many of y'all are in my seat where it's like the only thing that will get you to thinking that this team is actually in recalibration stage and not in rebuild stage is a complete destruction of the Giants? How many of y'all are on board with me? Y'all let me know down in the comments. Other than that, this has been your man John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.